What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 3, Episode 14. And it's called Chapter 49, Fire Walk With Me.
Yeah. And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines. So be sure to stick around for that.
As always, to all our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But before we get into the episode, we wanted to do, all of the housekeeping at the front end of this, because obviously there was a big event that happened that kind of involves what we do. And I'm sure all of you listeners who have been listening and paying attention to the news broke on, was it Monday?
Yeah, it was Monday.
Luke Perry, who plays Fred Andrews, obviously, and he's done so many other things. He was Dylan McKay, for God's sakes, on 90210, like such an iconic character. He passed away. So
I just couldn't believe it. I think the hardest part in all of this, obviously, like, he has children, he has he has family. It's just, it happened so suddenly, and like there was a person and then there wasn't. It was like, wait, what? Like, and then just like seeing everyone's reaction, like all the fans, like our listeners, the cast, and like the way that they, wrote about him. And like even Marisol just now was like, I'm like still in shock. She's like, when did this happen? Like, I think that's the hardest part, is like grasping it all. And like, it's like the person's there one day and like legit, like a minute later, like they're not there.
And it all happened really, really suddenly. Like, even when it was announced last week that he had his stroke, it was right after we had finished recording this podcast. So we didn't even talk about it in our last podcast because it had happened after the fact. So and then everything just kind of escalated even worse this week. And
I mean, like, coming off of last week's, I literally was like, I miss Fred. Like, I miss Archie having his dad there, especially because Archie's storyline is getting so interesting now. Like, I missed the dad role, and we said that last week, and like literally this guy like passes away like freaking like 6 days later. Like, it was just crazy. And it's so hard, like, having this podcast, and like we always have fun, and like we always laugh and we always joke, and like we rip it to shreds, and like now like a person's like gone for real. Like, it just made it feel so real. And
for sure,
it's such a weird feeling to like do this is like gonna be probably one of the hardest like podcasts that like we've done, probably.
Yeah, for sure. So we hope that you guys can bear with us, because I don't know how it's going to go, but hopefully we can all get through it together. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his loved ones. And, we were talking about the fact that, the Riverdale cast, mostly the Riverdale cast, just because of the fact that they worked with him the most directly in the last, in the most recent past. And it's clearly going to really shake up the entire crew and the entire cast. So I'm sure it's a huge loss for them. He's going to be extremely missed. One of the things that I did mention too is, we craved him back on the show last episode, because I do really feel that he brought so much heart to the show. He brought so much, love to his character and what Fred Andrews represented for the show, and for Archie, even, if you want to look at it that way, as a character. And he played it so well, and it's going to be a really hard time to kind of get through the rest of the episodes that I know that they've filmed probably with him in it.
Like, even this one, I was like, I hope he's not in it, because like if he's in it, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like, I was honestly like hoping that he wasn't going to be in it, because I'm like, I can't handle it like right now, maybe like next week, but like not now. And then like he was in it for like a minute.
When he showed up, I was like, oh God, I can't.
Yeah, I literally was like, no, like I didn't want to see it. I'm like, I can't right now.
But yeah, like I said, we'll all get through this together. And let's try to get into the episode. Let's and try to get a little bit joyful. Hopefully that will help us.
And I have to say, like, there was some really good moments in this episode. And I also want to start off with saying that I will no longer hate on this show. I'm gonna like put my phone down and be like, I love this show so much, because I feel like our listeners are like, stop complaining. Listen, so I'm not gonna complain. I'm gonna literally love the F out of the show, and you're gonna love that I love it, I guess.
Here's the one thing that I will say, just to like kind of like past that kind of mindset, is like, you know, the people who have stuck around and people who do like what we do, yes, we take digs at the show from time to time. Yes, we can be a little bit harder when we think that it could be a little bit better than what it is. But at the end of the day, we do love the show. So
it's always out of love. But like,
it's always out of love,
and
it definitely is a fun show to watch and talk about. So we try to keep things light. We try to, you know, get you guys away from the fact that, you know, the reality of the world is always dark and depressing, especially this week. So we hope that these podcasts kind of bring a little bit of joy to your life. We have a lot of fun doing them, and if you know, we will try our best to tone it down a touch, but I think that at the end of the day, we are Recap Rewind, and we have our voices for
we are
a
who
reason.
We are, okay?
We are who we are, okay?
Okay, so yeah,
that
the
was
first
the
and that was like really real. Sorry, guys. Getting back to who we really are.
Yeah.
No, the first scene of this episode killed me. Like, I was dead. I was like, first of all, I love House Hunters. Like, JLAG knows, like, HGTV is like my shit. So like the fact that they started this episode off with like basically a home tour. Yeah. And then like Betty was cracking me up. I was so dead. Funny.
There were a lot of really funny moments in this episode.
There was,
yeah. It was like, entertaining.
It was.
But so, yeah, like you said, it starts off with Alice, and she like opens up the doors, and it's very like bright and colorful. It's like a Tim Burton kind of like style, like
the
with her
fireplace
pink,
is on, like everything is like lit, like it looks good.
And she like suddenly she's like a real estate agent. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
that she can
I was
sell
like,
her
does she have? I'm like, does she have her license? Like, I wasn't sure. I can't remember.
So she's selling the house to this couple, and in the background the entire time Betty's like, so did you know that somebody got killed here, and like somebody died here, and
and like the fire thing, the fire poker, she's like, my mom beat the shit out of my dad with that one. I was like, oh my god, like that's so true.
And she changed her last name because she's like, look her up, but her name's not Alice Smith. It's Alice Cooper. You know what's funny?
Because like when she first said it, she's like, welcome, I'm Alice Smith. I was like, why is she saying it like that? I'm like, oh, because like she doesn't want to be known as Cooper anymore. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So, and I totally forgot that her name was Alice Smith, and I'm like, flashback episode. Right. Yeah. So anyway, Alice is getting cheesed at Betty because Betty's like, sorry about it, but like it's the truth. Like this house is a fucking murder house. So then it cuts to the boxing ring, and like the owner Mo is watching Archie box, and he's like, yo, listen, I know you like being here and stuff, but you gotta start paying your dues. And he's like, well, you can start like becoming a janitor basically. And Archie's like, okay, cool, I'll become a janitor. So then he decides
I love how
to
he
help,
was like
help out.
The like Mo was like, don't you have like a gym at your school?
Yeah.
Like, don't you guys have a boxing bag at your school? He's like, nah. I was like, that's so true. Like, I feel like, it's missing. Like, how?
How do they not have that?
Yeah.
Like, because all he really needs is the boxing.
Literally a bag. Like, that's it. And he has one in his bedroom. Like, why is he going there to do it?
It's true. He could just go home.
He has one in his. Oh, that friend did for him.
No, I don't want to. Stop talking about this. Okay, guys, I'm literally like tearing up. So
okay, next one. Farmies.
Next one is Farmies. The Farmies
walk
into.
Why are they called that? Like, what?
That's all I called them all episode because I didn't know what else to call them. The Farmies sounds funny enough. So Farmies, they walk into.
They literally have their own T-shirts, JLAG. Like, we still don't have our own T-shirts.
We don't even have our merch.
Their T-shirts, and it says like the farm. Like merch. Literally, it says the farm. I'm like, who would make a shirt like that?
They would. We should steal that
weirdos.
Logo. So they walk in, and it's so weird because first Kurtz is like literally like sprawled against like 3 different tables. He's like lying on his side. He's like, hey. And then they're like, you need to get out. And then from like the back door, Cheryl shows up with her pretty poisons, and she's like, "Yo, you guys are not supposed to be here. We booked this room.
I
I'm
reserved
class
this
president."
room.
Yeah,
And
so she got pissed
it was
off.
funny and it was cute because I'm like, okay, they're back in high school, but I'm like, guys, there's like freaking 50 classrooms. Like, you guys can't just like take one of the other ones, like
go somewhere else. So anyway,
Yeah.
they start a fight, and Cheryl basically calls the pretty poisons to like start this big fight between them and the ghoulies / serpents, and then the farmies. Like, there's this big like mess.
Yeah.
And so then it cuts to Principal Weatherby's office.
But
and
it's so
Jughead
weird
and
because like you
Tony-
don't see the fight. Like
No.
all you hear is like kerfuffle, and then
Like,
in the hallway, like Tony and Jughead are like, what the F's going on? And then they
Yeah.
run into the room, but like you still
Yeah.
don't see the fight. And then it just cuts to Principal Weatherby. He's like, you guys done fucked up. I was like,
I
wait,
wonder
we
if
didn't even
it's
see a
because
fight.
I wonder if it's because they don't want to show like a lot of violence.
Yeah,
of,
I'm
like,
sure it
kids
is.
on
And
kids.
it's because it's like guys against girls too, kind of, right? So like
Yeah,
they don't want to show that
true.
probably.
Yeah, good point. So they're in Principal Weatherby's office, Jughead and Tony, and basically he's like, cut this shit out. And by the way, somebody stole all the science equipment from the science room.
Right.
So if it's not you guys, then like somebody did it, and like this is your last chance. If you guys get in trouble one more time,
Did
like,
they say what they stole, or he just says like science equipment?
Well, he says science equipment that like could be
Like
made
chemicals?
to use. Yeah, no, it's like the beakers and shit that you would use to like make the drug.
something.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, it was like, yeah, like this was all made for like drug cooking or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't do anything like that. Like the serpents don't do anything. But anyway, Principal Weatherby's like, this is it. So then it cuts to the Banui, and Gladys and Hiram are just kind of like in their own areas. Like Gladys is getting like belligerently drunk in the corner.
Fucking love
Hiram's
her.
like taking shots to the table for free. They're all comped on the house.
But like my
they owe
question is like, where was Hiram taking his clients before the club? Like
that's okay.
Where were
we'll
they
get to that
doing
later. But
this?
I'm like, are there no any like
adults
avenue,
clubs? Like why is he
regular
taking them to his
bars?
daughter's club? Like
They have to go to like a speakeasy in a basement. Like what?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're kind of just taking over the area. Reggie and Veronica are like getting cheese in the corner, and then Veronica's like, I got a great idea. Let's like start a secret casino. And I'm like, okay, girl, just go and do it then.
Yeah.
So then it cuts back to Archie.
she does.
Oh, she does.
She does.
So then it cuts back to Archie at the boxing ring, and Josie comes
this was
in.
so cute.
And
She's like, hey boy, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. I was like, oh, I forgot they were together.
Yeah, like they have like these
So
adorable,
effing cute.
like very quick moments, and I'm just like, you guys cute. So then they start to hear a noise in like a room, and they open the door, and it's a little kid with a lighter, and his name is Ricky.
Ricky D.
Ricky D's. And then it cuts to Pops, and they're feeding the boy. Like they got him a burger, and they're just talking.
As soon as Archie was like, hey kid, like, are you hungry? The kid's like, I'm starving. I was like, oh, I don't trust him. Like, you know, like it was just like, you don't
You're
do
like,
that.
you shady, bro.
Yeah.
So Josie's like, maybe we can talk to social services. And as soon as she says it, like he like bolts for the door.
Yeah, he dips.
And he's like, I don't want to go back there. Like somebody branded me. Like while I was there was a bunch of gargoyle gangs. And then he shows his arm, and it's the symbol that Archie got, which is like the sacrifice symbol. And Archie's like, da 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 da. So then it cuts to Archie, and he takes Ricky to the garage.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't worry, you can sleep here tonight, and then tomorrow we can like go boxing, and you can hang out with me, whatever. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And Ricky's like, make sure that you never called Secret Services on me. Not Secret Services, sorry. Social Services. Social Services on me. And Archie's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll take care of you. And then it cuts to Cheryl and Tony.
Oh, geez.
And
drama
we get
is boiling.
a few cracks in Shoney for the first time in a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been having issues, I think, the last 2 episodes.
So what happens exactly? Break it down.
So essentially, Tony says something about the gang like getting involved in this fight, and
so
she
Tony
gets mad at Cheryl, again.
right, for
yeah
kind of like making drama, because then Weatherby got mad at Tony.
Yes.
Right?
So then she's like, I don't want to have to suspend my own girlfriend. And then Cheryl claps back and she was like, yeah, that would be really bad because you guys hold your headquarters here and there's a pool and there's a bed and you live here. And if you do that kind of shit, then maybe I won't be here anymore.
She basically pulled like a Kylie Jenner, Jordan Wood situation. And she was like, God. You're going to like get kicked out of my guest house. I was like, basically. Oh shit. And that was really fucked up though, on Cheryl's tight. Part. That was very
what
tight.
Did you? Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what did you think of this moment?
No, I was kind of caught off guard actually. I was like, whoa, like that got really petty really quickly.
Yeah, and real petty.
It's just like her realness is coming out, you know, like the season 1 Cheryl is coming out.
Yeah, it's her insecurities, right? Her fear. I think it really comes from like her fear of not getting the love that she wants all the time, and because Tony's starting to like take a little bit more control over things,
for sure,
Cheryl's acting like some ways about it. Anyway, right. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. So then it cuts to everybody at school and they're hanging out in the lounge. Everyone's hanging out in school and B's like, yes, like I mean,
I honestly like I miss them together.
Yeah,
and then like halfway
this is like the first time that, like,
they're all been together. Seriously. And then halfway through, I'm like, wait, do they even know that Archie and Josie are together?
True.
Like no one knows anyone's drama.
Yeah, and Josie's not even in the scene with them.
No,
like, she's
and like
not there.
And then I just saw like Veronica and Archie, and like I feel like the last time we saw them in the student lounge, like they were still a couple, even like
right.
You know, like I'm like, holy shit, time has gone so fast, and like no one even knows each other anymore. It was so sad.
It's true. It's like they're not even like saying like let's like hang out and like just catch up. They're just like, this is normal. I'm like, this is not normal, guys. You haven't talked about anything. So they're all talking, and Betty's just complaining about the fact that her mom is going crazy and she's selling the house. And Kevin walks in, and there's like a slow motion shot of him walking in. She waves at him,
like with the crustiest face.
Yeah, with the rest of the farmies, and they like ignore that group, and then they just keep walking. And Betty's like, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Betty's
with him.
Wave was like slow motion, and then
like,
even
hey.
Veronica was like, hey, and he doesn't even say hey. Like he just walked. Like, why do you have to be mean to them? Just say hi. Like,
yeah, he sucked. He definitely sucked this episode. I was very disappointed in him. So then it cuts to Betty talking to Kevin. She's like, listen, what's going on with you? And she's like, why did you join the farm? Can we just talk about that for a second? And he's like, back off, Betty. He's like, you're a detractor. Just back off. And I'm like, whoa.
This cult sounds like Scientology for sure. Like I feel like they took Scientology's like mold and they like copied it to this.
They turned it into the same thing. Yeah.
Like what's a detractor? Like it sounds like
I guess someone who like is influencing them against, like they're against everything. They're like detracting them from their mission. Anyway, so then it cuts to a serpent meeting. Jughead is holding a serpent meeting in school, and he's asking like his entire crew, including the new gargoyles, and he says, where's the science equipment that went missing? And Kurt starts laughing. He's like, hey, we're the ones that did it. We stole it for a mission. And Jughead gets like so pissed off. He's like, what the hell? You got to return that equipment. What the hell's wrong with you? And then Fangs gets pissed off, and I'm like, oh, Fangs, just like stop, just chill, you're gonna get in trouble. So then Jughead basically says, we're all serpents now, you need to start playing by the rules, let's like all say the saying together. What does he say again? What's it like? Together we stand, strong together, something like that. I should know this.
Forever we stand. No.
No. I think it's like strong as a group or strong together. We're gonna get in so much trouble.
In something.
United we stand? No.
Jeez, it's like.
Anyway, whatever. Kurtz doesn't say it. Everybody else says it except for him. And I'm sure one of you guys are gonna let us know what it is. For real.
We suck.
Yeah. So I know the amount of times that they've said it, you think that we would know exactly what it is. But then Jughead is like, you better shape up. Like, what's like, if you don't shape up, then you're going to be in trouble. And Kurtz is like, actually, you guys wanted us for the numbers. So realistically, you need us more than we need you. So you better shape up or else we'll take over your little gang.
Yeah.
And Jughead's like, uh-oh. And I'm like, I mean, is that a bad thing if they just take over and you could just be a normal kid? Maybe.
I get that's what I would want.
I'd be okay with that. So anyway, then it cuts back to.
I found it. It's
what
called.
is it?
They say in unity there is strength.
Oh yeah, see, like pretty much the same. That was gonna bother me for the rest of the episode. Yeah. In unity, there's strength.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the Bon Nuit, and there's just like a bunch of employees, and then Josie, the singer, and she's just chilling.
I love this part.
Veronica's basically like, oh, so we're gonna have a casino, but it's gonna be like a top secret casino within a top secret freaking
low key bar.
And
then Josie's like, what will we do when they raid us? Where are we gonna go? And Veronica's like, oh,
yeah,
I
they
love
like start
that.
putting shit away.
So like they basically in like 0.5 seconds, I don't know when the F she built this, but like every single like casino machine is like hidden behind like a secret wall or like like a cupboard where like it closes, so like they'll never know that there's like games there.
Reggie's like back there, he's like
cool.
bloop 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 bloop. I'm like
closing
all right,
the cupboards. I'm like, how did you get back there? Like you were just behind the bar.
Yeah. So anyway, so cool. They have a plan, and I was like, all right, I'm good with that. Yeah, that's fine. So then it cuts to FP and Jughead at the sheriff's office, and he's basically talking to Zad, being like, I don't know what to do. Everything's out of control. These freaking crazy gargoyles are psycho. And FP basically says, you're the Serpent King. You can make your own rules. You have to find a way to outthink them and give them something that they can like sink their teeth into, like the rest of the gang, so they stay with you. And Jughead's like, true. So then it cuts to the Pop's Diner, where Ricky was supposed to be waiting, and Archie comes in, and Pops is like, nope, he ran away like 5 hours ago.
I feel like Pops, like the way he explains things, like he waits to the last minute to like drop his point. He's like, who were you looking for? A kid? There's no kid. Oh, there was a kid. Oh, that other kid, they chased him from the back of the room to the restaurant. And then he's gone. And then Archie's like, oh man, like shit. And he's like, wait, Archie, hold on. He drew this picture. Let me grab it for you. Like, why wouldn't you just have it ready for him there, like on the counter?
Like, go faster. Jesus.
Yeah, like he always saves it for the last second. And then Archie's like, and basically the picture is like this amazing like Picasso drawing.
Oh my God. It
basically
was like the most...
the entire season, like season 3 basically is like in that picture.
I've never drawn that well in my entire life.
Every single color, guys, like every single shade of yellow, orange, like red is like in there. Like, where did he get these crayons from? I don't know.
I know.
And then Archie's like, wow. Oh shit. So basically he drew like the gargoyle around the fire or whatever.
Yeah, and they're like sacrificing people or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Betty at school, and she's like working late or whatever, and she hears something in a room, and it's a science lab, and she pulls open the window, and she sees
like the
first she sees Kevin, and he's like holding his hand over like a burner, and then she like pans out to see the rest of the farmies, and they're all doing the exact same thing, and Evelyn's like, good job everybody, good job, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then it cuts to the Pop's Diner, and Archie and Josie, and was it Archie and Josie or Archie and Betty? I don't remember.
I think it's Archie and Betty because she has the connect on Mrs. Weiss or whatever.
Miss Weiss. So Miss Weiss is there with like a sketch artist.
Dude. Did you notice the size of the sketch? It was the size of the table. The guy that was holding the sketch, it was big. It was like covering his face. Like the guy that drew the sketch. I'm like,
I didn't even know who he was until the very end when he turned it.
So, I'm like, how big did you draw this kid's face?
It's like life size.
It's literally the size of him. And then Archie's like, can I get a photocopy? I'm like, there's no photocopy that big. Like, how are you going to scan that?
Like, could you draw 75 more, please? So, yeah, anyway, so Miss Weiss basically says, we'll look for him in the system. We know of this particular place that he ran away from, and it's actually a pretty good agency. And they're like, well, no, he got branded there, and like some gangs were in there. And they're like, oh, true, there have been gangs around the foster care home, even though it's not being publicized anymore. So then it cut, and then that's when the freaking sketch artist is
here's your painting.
Is this him?
Archie's like, yeah, that looks exactly like him. Like every single like pore on the kid's face was like on that picture.
I'm like, how did you know exactly how to draw him? He's
Yeah.
exactly the same. Anyway, so then it cuts to the lodge residence, and Hiram like lurks into Veronica's room, and he's like, "Oh, I heard that you have a casino," and
he's like, "Yeah,
she's like,
I did.
I do have one." Okay.
This part killed me.
And then he's like, "I have a client coming, and he sells like cards, like playing cards.
Yeah.
So you need to show him a good time, because then I need to like land this deal."
So I think what happens is the guy makes the playing cards, so he wants to do it in the prison.
Right.
Like he wants the prisoner to like produce the cards for him so that he's going to make a percentage off of the playing cards.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like, Veronica, like, be nice to him. And Veronica's like, wait, hold on.
And she's like,
can I get 5% off my debt? Yeah. She's like, that's shady, Zara.
That's shady.
Yeah, it was a cute scene. And then she's like, can I get 5% off my debt? He's like, sure. I was like, what? Like, how does that make sense? Like, 5% is a lot.
That is a lot of $75,000.
And like all she had to do was like entertain the guy for the night. Like, what was the big deal?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I guess that's how it works. Plus, it's your dad. Like, you shouldn't be having to pay him $75,000 back anyway.
I know.
Anyway, so he's like, I'll see what I can do. And then it cuts to the Bon Nuit with Gladys. And like,
and then
I don't
this
know,
is
man,
the part that
guys,
killed me too. So then,
like,
so right after this part where like Hiram's like, sure, 5% off, like cool, clearance. And then Gladys comes to the bar and she's like, Veronica, like, did you know, like back in the day, like I used to perform at the White Worm. And Veronica's like, oh, sick, like I don't really care.
Like, cool.
And then Gladys is like, no, she's like, I was pretty like good though. Like she's like, I actually like I'm down to perform here. And Veronica's like, okay, you can.
She's like,
wait, you can perform if I get 5% off my debt. And the Gladys is like, sick, I'll do that. I was like, who would ever agree to that?
I mean, I would.
Just to perform on the stage? Like, she's going to get 5% off the debt?
For like 5 seconds.
Gladys is stupid.
What an idiot. Yeah, so... Like, you're that thirsty for the microphone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just go home and like perform. Like, why do you have to
go to a karaoke
5%?
bar? Fuck.
Yeah.
Why do you have to perform with the Bon Nuit?
It's not even like it was the White Worm where like she feels like nostalgic and she's like, oh, I used to perform here. Like, it's like a brand new bar.
And now that you're mentioning the White Worm, what the fuck happened to the White Worm? Why can't he just open up his own fucking bar? Why can't Hiram open up his own bar? He bought the White Worm.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. You're like, it just doesn't make sense.
Like, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, whatever. So she agrees. She's like, yeah, sure. I'll do it. I'll pay 5% for a fucking song.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
one song, imagine.
I'm like, I'll let the Riverdale fans just suffer through this one song once. And
so what did you think about... Anyways, yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to it. So then it cuts to Betty and Josie, and they're talking. And I forgot that Josie is like stepsisters with Kevin.
Exactly. So then Betty comes up to Josie. She's like, "Hey, girl, like, what's going on? Like, how's life?" And Josie's like, "Ugh, whatever." And that's what I mean. Like, they have no idea. Like, Josie didn't even say like, "Ugh, Archie's like so hot." Like, they didn't even get a moment to like catch up. Like, no one even knows that Archie and freaking Josie are dating.
I know. It's so funny.
And like
she doesn't even mention it. She's not like, by the way, my new boyfriend Archie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I thought maybe she would drop it and then Betty could like somehow like I don't know, get jealous.
Especially since like she went to go like connect with Miss Weiss. She could have said like, oh, how did that meeting go with my boyfriend and Miss Weiss?
Exactly.
Or maybe they're not official. Like, who knows? Anyway. So they're talking, and she starts talking about the fact that Kevin has been sneaking out of the house.
She's like, I just thought he was going to Fox Forest.
Like, which is like even worse.
I love Ashley Murray's eye rolls. Like, they kill me.
She's like, I guess he's still like anonymously fucking guys in the forest versus going to a cult. Like, honestly,
and Betty's
his
like,
storylines are so garbage.
He's in a cult. She's like, oh shit.
She's like, that's even worse somehow. Okay, cool. So anyway, so then they're concerned, and then it cuts to Jughead and Archie at the trailer, and they start talking about Ricky, and he's like, I need your help. We need to find this kid. He like went missing.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the bunker, and it's like all the serpents, including Kurt's. And he's like, we need to find Ricky. Who, like, you know, like, where is this kid? Go find him. And Kurtz is very against it. He's like, I don't even give a shit about this kid.
Yeah.
Who is this kid anyway? And Jughead tries to pull rank, and it doesn't really work because Kurtz just like fucks off. And I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I do like the fact that Kurtz is there because he starts,
I do like it too.
shit.
I do like it.
But at the same time, like, it always ends off with him being like, oh, fuck this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he just,
at
like,
the end of the day,
leaves.
Jughead's the main character. Like, it's always going to end up being his way, obviously.
But that's the thing too. Like, he doesn't, like, Kurtz doesn't even have like a lot of pull with the rest of the gang. Like, he doesn't say to the other gargoyle guys like, come with me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck these guys too. They just stay. Like, they're like, we'll come help you find the boy.
Yeah.
And like, Kurtz is the only one that leaves. And I'm like, okay, weird. Anyway, so then it cuts to the Bon Nuit, and we get the like dream of a lifetime. Gladys fucking. Like, why is she singing?
I wish
why
you said Gladys Knight. I wish you had said Gladys Knight.
I was about
You're
to
almost
say
gonna
Gladys
say it, and I was like, I
Knight.
wish it was Gladys Knight.
I'm like, that's not her name.
What did you think of her singing?
Okay, listen.
I'm listening.
First of all, it's a very rare moment that we get the parents to sing on the show at all. I think the last person that sang was Alice during the Carrie musical episode, and I don't know. I don't like watching adults sing songs in a kid show. Like, it's just weird. The whole setup of it didn't make any sense. I'm not saying that she had an awful voice, but like, I kind of felt how that guy felt when he was like laughing and trolling her.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Girl. I'm like, he is all of us right now.
Yeah. So 2 things. I didn't mind her singing. First, I was definitely like, what, Kate, like, what is she doing though? Like, why is she like on stage? Like, I'd be so embarrassed. That was my mom.
And that's
number 1. Okay, number 2.
And her hair was like flipped out. Like, she did her hair.
Yeah, no, she's gonna earn her 5%. Like, she paid a lot to be on that stage. Like, you know.
That's true.
But so what I was saying was, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm down for the parents to like have their lit moment, but like make it feel lit. Like, I would have been down to see her on stage, and then like Alice walks in, and like FP's there, and like they overhear her singing. Like, like make it fit the entire storyline. But like just having her in a kid's bar singing on stage, I was like, girl, like your time is over. Like, it didn't feel epic.
It didn't make sense.
You know?
Yeah, it didn't make
Whereas like that Alice walking with like that address at the event, like there's like these epic moments that it works, but this one just didn't really work.
I agree. It's almost like Roberta was like, oh, you can sing too?
Yeah.
Why don't you sing a song in one of these episodes? Cool.
Exactly.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
And that was it. I'm like, we're never going to hear Gladys sing ever again.
So what I thought was actually going to happen, and I was okay with it if it went this way. So what happens is Gladys goes on the stage, she starts singing, and then Hiram brings his like associate, and they sit like right in the front of the room. And the associate's like, oh, she's so shit. So what I thought was going to happen.
Trolling the shit
he's trolling her. I thought she was going to kill him. Like, so that she could like have a front view of him and like throw like a knife or something at his like chest. And I'm like, oh, that's sick. Like, if she does that. But then she didn't even do that.
Like, it doesn't like get chaotic enough.
No, not at all. He just yells at her. Like, he's like,
she does pull out her switchblade. She's like, you want to fight, bro?
Hiram's like, you should give her some tips. And he's like, I'll show her the tip. And then she's like, I have a pointy tip. And like, she pulls out her pocket. I'm like, what is going on?
It's like tip. Yeah, it was just a lot.
Weird.
And then, what's his name? I was going to call him Charles Melton. Reggie decides that that's the moment that they need to like pull this guy out because he's acting like an asshole.
Acting like a D-bag.
And so then they pull him out of the club, and Hiram's like, I hope you didn't like fucking just cost me $1 million deal, bitch.
But like, if I was Veronica, like,
sorry about it.
I'd rather take off Gladys than the man. Like you know that like your dad needs to like thing the guy.
I was thinking the same thing, and I'm like, I guess it just shows that she's caught in between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah,
like she's fucked either way.
I guess.
So she's like, I guess like,
well, yeah, because she got a 5% discount from both of them. So
exactly.
She owes them both something.
Exactly. She didn't get it. So anyway, so she's like, oh shit. So then it cuts to the Farmies, and they're like in the middle of the night, like just like lurking in the forest.
They're just like hanging out.
And
totally
and
fine.
Betty's like Betty's overhearing this like chanting, and she finally sees them in the clearing, and Kevin is about to like walk across fucking hot coals.
So I've always wanted to do this, like real talk. Like, I want to see if I can actually do it.
I mean, that's like,
so I was kind of
I
like,
have calluses
ooh.
on my feet, but this is like crazy. This is like, it's not like summer Cuba beach like sand. It's not. It's like
he
really,
walks
really
over
fucking hot.
over these things, and everyone's like cheering him. They're like, yes, Kevin, yes.
Yeah.
And then Betty's like, no, stop. She's like, don't do it. And he just like legit like looks at her dead ass, and he just like keeps walking.
He's like, I can do this, bitch.
Yeah.
And he's got this like lit like white jacket on. I was like, you look so cool.
Yeah.
While you're walking across these coals. Anyway, yeah, you're right. It was like a very much like they seem to pull in a lot of these different like religious situations, which kind of creep me out a little bit. Like walking across coals and like doing all these like creepy rituals,
baptisms, and like
baptisms. And
I don't know. Like, what do
people.
you think at this point of the farm? Like,
Okay, so the question that I actually wrote down, because he's successful, okay, and everybody's like so proud of him. They're like, you did it, like we are one, whatever. And I like low key, I'm not gonna lie, guys, don't hate me if I'm saying this, but like, is the farm that bad?
so okay, it's funny that you're saying that now, because I think in this moment I questioned the same thing, and I was like, wait,
see?
like, are they that bad? But then by the end I was like, no, they're pretty fucked up.
No, they're pretty.
Because that last scene I was like, whoa, like they got very aggressive towards Betty. But yeah, you're right. In this moment, for sure, like I'm like, wait, are they that bad? Like, are they just like a motivational group? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm like, I want to. You're right. Like, I would want to like, push my body and like have a bunch of people cheering me on because I'm pushing myself to do something amazing. But I guess because that's the thing. Like, I think that you see this one side of it, but you don't see like the diabolical side of it. But also, as much.
What I'm saying is, I feel like at this point we've seen enough where now I'm like, okay, they are weird though.
True. Fair. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, so then it cuts to Archie and Jughead at school, and they're like, let's go visit that like creepy place where we found Kurtz. Like maybe he's there. Like who knows? So then they show up at this like the cave area, and there's a list of names, which you remember from last episode, and it shows Archie's name, and then underneath it says like Ricky D. And they're both like on this list of like sacrifice names because everybody else's names were like
crossed
all
up.
The people that have died. Yeah. So then he like hears a shuffle in the corner, and then he finds Ricky like hiding in like the back corner, and he's like, we gotta stick together. We're both marked like for death. And Ricky's like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, don't worry, I'll protect you.
I will say that
it was cute.
Oh, it was so cute. Yeah, it really was.
Like outside of the fact that he is a diabolical child, like I was like totally down.
I felt like KJ, like I could see the little boy coming out in him as an actor when he was with the other younger actor. I was like, oh, they look so cute together.
Yeah, and I was like, you can be a good dad. Yeah, like, you're gonna be like. Anyway, we're talking about this. So then it cuts to Betty, and she's like writing her paper, and Evelyn and Kevin walk in, and Betty's like, so I'm about to publish this article that like basically bashes you guys right out and tells everybody about how crazy your fucking farm is. And they're like, no, you're not, bitch. Because thanks to your mom, everybody knows all your shit too.
Yeah, I was like, wow, Alice,
you best
so
be
stupid.
careful.
Yeah,
I know.
So this was definitely the part where I honestly didn't know when they walked into the room. I was like, okay, are they gonna surprise us and be like, Betty, like we're actually like pretty cool, like I didn't know what to expect. And then she was like, yo, like I have all this shit on you, like you better watch your back. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I was like, never mind.
And
like,
Kevin is done to me. He is legit done to me. If I was Betty, I would just write him off right now, because like the way he's treating her is disgusting.
I know. I'm like, you got to make up for this shit for real.
Like I don't know what he's gonna do.
Better make up for this. Anyway, so she gets pissed off. I love Lily Reinhart. Let me just say that real quick.
I know.
She's such a good actress.
I know.
So anyway, she's pissed off, and then it cuts to Ricky and Archie at the boxing place, and he's like, yo, you gotta like learn to fight, because like if these guys come back, like they're gonna like come for you, and you need to learn to fight for yourself. And Ricky's like, thanks, bro, I love you. And that was it. He's like, running doesn't solve anything. So it was cute to see like Archie trying to impress. He's
passing on like his knowledge to like the kid of what he's learned in season 3.
Yeah, he's like, I learned things in the last 3 episodes.
He realized a lot of things this season.
Yeah. Hashtag realizing. So then it cuts to another Serpent meeting, and it has everybody there except for like a few people. The key person that was missing was fucking Fangs, and I was like, why isn't Fangs here? And then you find out why. So then Jughead basically talks to all the serpents, and he says, we need to find the other people, the other outliers, the other gargoyle gangs that are out there like doing their own thing. You need to help us find them. Like, he points to the other gargoyle guys.
Yeah.
And in that moment, Tony runs in. She's like, bro, you got to come right now. Kurtz is about to kill Fangs.
Yeah.
And so then
this is the shot that we saw in the promo where like they're
yes.
holding him over like the railing or whatever at school.
Right. And basically he's like, you freaking traitor, like whatever. And then he is about to drop him. And as he's about to drop him, like obviously Jughead and Sweet Pea like run
like
in the perfect time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are like Spider-Man over here, like just catching your friend right before he falls. So yeah, anyway, so that happens. And he's just like, whatever, he's pissed. So then it cuts to the Bonui, and Gladys is now behind the bar. She's like pouring herself a drink.
I was like, yes.
And then Hiram is just like touring people around. He's like, yeah, like these are my light fixtures. Like I like basically helped design this entire area. And Veronica's like fucking pissed. Yeah,
she's like, what are you doing, Gladys? She's like, why are you there? She's like, your boyfriend makes shitty ass drinks. So she's like, I'm making myself a drink. I love their dynamic. I don't know what it is like between Veronica and Gladys. Like, it's so funny to see
an adult and a child fight each other. Yeah, it's funny. Funny is a great way to put it, because I'm just like, okay,
it's so entertaining.
Yeah, I can run with that. Entertaining.
It's weird because I feel like Gladys and Betty would have a really funny dynamic, because like Betty's dating her son. Like, that would have been funny to see, because like Veronica and Gladys really don't have a connection other than like they're doing this, whatever it is.
This like secret mission thing. Yeah. But at the same time, that's a good point. How come we haven't seen like a dinner between, I guess all like the parents are fucking crazy. Like Alice is crazy.
Everyone is going through something right now. Yeah. They don't have time.
So
for
like
that.
There's no like family dinners. Do you remember last season when there was like a family dinner between Alice and FP?
I remember the better times.
Okay, moving on. So Veronica's like, I got a plan. I'm gonna start like taking some money off of our casino nights, because I gotta like pay some.
She's bitches. So funny. Whenever she says, she's always like this. She's like, Reggie, I think I got something. Reggie, I got a plan. I'm like, oh my God, holy shit. Like, what's the plan? Like, girl, you're gonna like bullshit up. She's like, I'm gonna take some money off the top of like what we get, and then I'm gonna give it to like the girls. I was like, okay, like that wasn't really like,
it wasn't that
that
big,
was just like
cool.
Taking money to give someone else.
Yeah. So, and then it cuts to Archie and Ricky, and they're at home now, and they're just like hanging out, and he's wearing, I think he walks in, he puts on Ricky wearing his Letterman jacket,
right, which was a little weird.
Archie's like, he's like, bro, you can wear it if you want to, like if you like it. And I was like, this is so cute. He's like such a good dad. And then he was like, and then he was like, you can come down and meet my dad now. And I was like, no, I'm not ready.
I literally screamed. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I
literally
like I wasn't ready for it. Anyway. So then it cuts to Jughead and FP. Like, they don't show him meeting.
No,
Fred
I was
all.
kind of shocked at that.
Yeah, me too. I wonder. Anyway, I don't want to speculate, but so then it cuts to Jughead and FP, and Jughead like walks in. And he's like, "Yo, I got a great idea, thanks to you, and like all my great ideas. Like I'm gonna like you'll see what I'm about to do." I'm like, these scenes sometimes are so pointless.
I know. They're like filling up the time.
Yeah. So then it cuts to the Pop's diner, and it's Veronica talking to Tony, and she was like, "I want the pretty poisons to work for us."
Love
now.
it.
And
I love this so much.
Yeah. Tell me about why you feel that way.
I don't know. I think it just makes total sense that she would, because like when she first said it, I was like, oh, she's gonna hire the serpents to like be there. I'm like, oh wait. I'm like, no, she's gonna hire the girls to do it.
Yeah, I was down for it, and it gives like the pretty poisons a purpose.
It gives them a purpose. I was totally down for it.
Yeah, I was into it. I'm like, yes, girl gang, good at it.
Because like, Reggie can't do everything. Like, geez, he needs a break sometimes.
It's true. So she offers her money, and Tony's like, we'll take it. And Veronica even says, she's like, do you have to pass this by Cheryl? And Tony's like, nope, we're good. And I'm like,
and I was like, oh, that's going to be a fight later on.
Right.
But okay, so my question to you is like, why would Cheryl have a problem with it?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So then it cuts to FP and Jughead at school, and they decide to deputize all of the serpents. Which I guess makes a lot of sense, actually, when you think about it. Because now that FP is like the deputy, the sheriff, like making the other ones like basically a gang of police officers, like junior police officers, like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And it like brings them all together. And he's like, you guys can get paid and you guys get school credit.
Yeah, that's
like
cute.
He's like, I'm fixing all your problems. So like, just be okay with it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, if it's not unanimous, there's the damn door. And then Kurt's like dips.
Yeah.
He's like pissed. I was like, okay, were you okay with this moment?
Yeah,
no?
it was cute.
You're like, I was
okay with it.
So then it cuts to Archie and Ricky at home, and they're playing like games on like downstairs, and suddenly Archie gets a phone call from Miss Weiss, and in this moment it's like the freaking like murder call. It's like he's in the house, like she's basically like telling all the tea.
She's like, so that kid that you have now in your dark home without your dad, that kid's shady.
He might try to kill you. So it turns out that his name is Ricardo DeSantos, and it's Joaquin's younger brother.
Right.
And that Ricky has a background of violent behavior and self-harm. As soon as I heard self-harm, I'm like, okay, so he carved himself.
Yeah, for sure. He's
like
shady.
That scar. And then anyway, so he's like looking for him in every corner, and then he turns around at one point and Ricky's holding like a gigantic butcher's knife. And I'm like, if you really wanted to kill Archie, you had like every 75
moment,
opportunities.
Seriously.
You had to wait till after he found out from Miss Weiss that you're a fucking shady motherfucker.
I just don't get why like there's a kid being involved in all of this. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why couldn't he just be like Joaquin's brother who's like 14 instead of like 8? Like, I just didn't understand like why he's like a little kid, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
But not even just that. It's like, why involve a kid in this whole gang storyline too?
But, yeah,
like, it's
that's
not
what I mean. Like, I don't know.
It's not worth it. I was so into this whole like little bro situation.
I was so into it. They were so cute together.
And then of course they have to like twist this storyline. I'm like, of all storylines, maybe like don't twist this one.
Yeah. So anyway, the kid like is staring at him, and I'm like, oh my god, like what's he gonna do to Archie? I'm like, Archie can't get stabbed again. Like this kid's been stabbed literally like 8 times in like season 3. So then he stabs him. Sure enough, totally like slashes his stomach, and Archie's like, Archie's like, you got me. And then Fred walks in,
and then we see Fred.
And then he's like, I have the food or something. I don't know what he said. And he's like, Archie, are you okay? And like, it took them like 5 minutes to like see his stomach. I'm like, look down. And then he sees like Archie bleeding. He's like, are you okay? Whatever.
Yeah. And then he says something that's like, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm such an idiot. And Fred is like, not an idiot. You just have a big heart. I'm like, bah! I can't do this right now.
Holy fuck. Like, I can't believe he's dead. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy to watch this show now knowing that he's gone.
Holy
like
shit.
It's
so
really
weird.
sad. And like every moment that he
shit.
speaks, I'm just like, I'm listening. You know, it's really hard. So anyway, so Fred finds a card on the floor that is like left behind, and it says kill the Red Paladin. Yeah. So he's obviously playing the game. Then it cuts to Tony and Cheryl, and Tony's like, yo, I got a gig at, Pop's Diner. I'm going to come. Like, are you going to come with? And Cheryl's like, no. And Tony's like, okay, well, are you going to stay up and wait out for me? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's going to be one of those nights.
So why, though? Like, why is Cheryl so pissed?
So I think Cheryl's pissed because she's losing control over the situation.
But it's not a bad thing that Tony did. Like she's getting work for them. So like, why is Cheryl? It's just Cheryl's just pissed because she wasn't there for the decision. Is that why?
I think there's that, and I think also just the fact that she kind of held it over her head in the first place. How she was like, I don't want to have to suspend my own girlfriend. But at the same time, she feels like she kind of gave her this gang. So there's this whole idea of like ownership
for sure
that Cheryl has. Because even her saying, like, threatening her and saying like, oh, well, you're living in my house and this, and this. Like, it's
but
that
like
whole
right
idea
now,
of
like right now, it seems like, you know, Tony is not in the wrong. Like, she's not doing anything that's really like shady. Yeah. It seems that Cheryl's really the one being petty and being a little jealous and being insecure. So I wish it was a bit more like equal, where like maybe Tony did something really shady too, so like they're kind of both in the wrong. But I honestly feel like Tony really hasn't done anything that like she should be that mad at, you know?
No, I mean, maybe they should just talk about like, they should just communicate a little bit more how she feels. Like, Cheryl should just be like, I'm just being insecure, and that's it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure it's going to come up, but like in a bad way. It's going to like hit them.
I don't know. We'll see. So then it cuts to the Bon Nuit / Pops, like the top part of Pops, and people are being stopped. So the poisons are kind of like at the door, and Gladys comes in and she's already
like
swinging
so
a
drunk.
Drink.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, let's get lit.
She's like,
and
singing
then the
time
poisons,
part 2.
So then they stop her at the door. They're like, you're not allowed in anymore, and you need like a special invite. And then Veronica comes up and she's like, you're not allowed in here until you start following my rules, bitch. And then
that says
Gladys
my
is
clap.
like, and then Gladys is like, okay, bitch, I see you. And then she walks away.
Yeah.
And then like literally 5 seconds later, like, I love that she's like tag teaming both of these people.
Yeah.
So Hiram literally comes right in. He's like, I hope you have like my favorite booth ready, mija. And she's like, Dad, you're not invited either. Sorry, bro. Like, you're not allowed. And she's like, you need to shape up. Or like, she basically copy pasted the entire speech one more time. And he's like, okay, I see you, bitch. Like, it's the same reaction too. Like, he's like, okay, I'm leaving. But then that's when I wrote down, aren't there any adult bars in Riverdale?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he could just go like somewhere else.
Like, I'm surprised that he doesn't own his own bar at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's obviously it's a moneymaker, so why wouldn't you?
It's a moneymaker.
Instead, like, the White Worm is like now quiet and empty, and like there's no drugs being made anymore. Like, it's just very confusing. Like, you have so much property, dude. Like, just do everything else.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally, whatever. So then it cuts to Betty at home, and she's like in her room, and she has a candle in front of her, and she tries to do that like thing that she saw the rest of the kids do, and like put her hand over the flame. And then in that moment, Alice comes in and she's like, oh, you better like clean up a little bit more. And then Betty's like, fuck this, whatever.
They literally packed up so fast.
They packed up so quick, and I started getting really sad about it.
I did too, because I was like, are they really going to do this? Like, they're going to leave the house?
Yeah.
I'm like I love their house. Why?
Their house is great. And like so much happens in that house.
And like Betty's Archie's neighbor. Like, she can't not be his neighbor. Like, that still needs to happen. So like, I'm waiting for that.
She needs that like window lurk.
The window lurk.
Moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. But what did you think before we keep moving forward, what did you think of the fact that Betty tried to put her hand over the fire?
Yeah, no, that was scaring me, because I was like, shit, like, she's going to get into it.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, maybe she's like starting to like change a little bit.
The girl's been holding out this whole time. Like, everyone in her life is effing like in this damn farm, and like, you know, I can see it happening because it's all around her. But
yeah, if I was her, I'd be like at least curious at the very least, you know what I mean? So I understand. But anyway, so she goes downstairs with this candle, and she like looks around to the whole house. Oh shit. And I'm like, here we go. No. Did you know that she was gonna try to burn it down?
Sure. There's no other way this could go. Like, she's gonna burn the shit down.
So then it cuts to Archie and Jughead, and Betty's there too, but like she's not in the scene right away. And they're in that area where they found Kurt's, and Jughead's like, sick, we're gonna turn this into like a nice new headquarters for the Serpents. I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's doing like a fixer-upper. He's like, we're gonna fix this place up, it's gonna look so nice, I'm gonna put a couch here and like paint this red.
It's like HGTV part 2.
Yeah.
So Archie's still kind of pissed off. He's like, I'm still marked for
like
death.
Sad, yeah.
No matter where I go, like when is this ever gonna end? It's so fucked up. And Jughead's like, dude, I don't even have the answer for you, but like we'll take care of you. And Betty like kind of lurks in, and she's like, yeah, bro, don't worry, we're here for you too. And Jughead's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you so happy? And she was like, I am happy. And then like cuts to
I was like, no. I'm like, that's
like,
her.
What did you do?
That's her crazy happy smile. Like, I know that look. Like, that shit's fucked.
We've seen that crazy smile.
Yeah, and then it literally cuts to like the house, and like Alice is like, Betty, and she like comes in and like there's smoke. Everywhere. And then like she basically turns around and she misses the entire wall that's on fire. I'm like how did you not see that when you walked into your house? And yeah, the whole basically back wall of the house is like on fire.
Like fucking on fire.
Betty just like dipped basically.
Fucking psycho.
She's so crazy. Like, I don't know who's worse, Dark psychotic. Betty or like Fire Betty. Like, I don't know.
I have no idea. But you know what's funny? We thought that Alice was going to burn the house down in the first place.
It's true.
So
it's true.
I'm surprised that like it all came full circle and they ended up like
it did.
She pulled a Cheryl and burned her own house down.
Fucking runs in their family.
All these girls are like fucking burning shit down. So funny.
And they ended off the episode with the memoriam. Like they showed like his name. And I think what they said was like every episode until the end of the season is gonna be like dedicated for like to him.
Of course.
So
yeah.
I wonder when, and this is just me thinking, like I wonder how far along they've filmed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's a question that's kind of been in the back of my mind. Obviously, it's not a big concern, but there is the question because it was such an abrupt situation, what they're going to do with Fred Andrews' character.
Honestly, like, I don't know. I really want to hear, like, our fans and what you guys think, like, in the comments. Like, what do you guys... You know, he's such an amazing character. He's such an amazing father. Like, Archie's mom sucks. So, like, his father was, like, a huge role for him. And I just want to know, like, how you guys would want his story to kind of, like, end off or, like, wrap up. Like, I don't even know how they're going to do. What are they going to do?
Like, what are they going to do? Like, literally, I'm so at a loss as to
I can't even imagine it because it's going to be so fucking, like...
It's going to be hard either way. Like when they finally make that decision to have to like, you know, transition him out of the show. But it's going to be a drastic change for it's going to be a drastic change for the show in its entirety. The plot lines, everything is going to be completely different. And it's going to feel like a gigantic hole is missing in the show. I already know that for a fact.
For sure.
I already know that for a fact. And it's just really, really sad. And a part of me is like not looking forward to watching it just because it's going to be like, when it's over, you'll know that it's done and you'll be like, okay, it's done, you know? I think, you know, one of the things that I was talking to NB about offline, like when we found out about the news was, you know, Fred's character, Fred, when he was younger in the flashback episodes, his dad, so Archie's grandfather, also dies suddenly. And it's something that Fred Andrews, like his character, like carries through the rest of his life because he felt guilt because he was at the Ascension night and he wasn't with his dad. And now that this is happening, like basically in a real life situation,
it's crazy too because like we did get to see those scenes where like when Fred was shot, like when he was in the coma or whatever, like we saw those scenes of like him imagining Archie's life or him imagining these moments where like maybe if he wouldn't be there or like whatever. So like it's crazy that it's like kind of like it is gonna be that in the show. So
fuck, it's so sad. It's just so fucking sad. It's just really sad. We obviously edited a video this week and it was hard going through all the old footage. It was really hard going through all the footage.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was like, just hearing his voice, like, again, I'm like, I can't. I can't. It's going to be really hard. And, like, I can't imagine, like, not that we only know him as Fred Andrews. Like, I know him as Del McKay for sure. Like, I've watched 90210 Beverly Hills, like, for sure. And, like, you know, my cousins are, like, obsessed with him and they loved him as a character on that show. Like, I can't imagine what it feels like for me, like honestly, like getting real right now, for me, like Paul Walker was like my Luke Perry. So like me losing Paul Walker was like already fucking crazy and so devastating. I can't imagine a whole generation who was like obsessed with Luke Perry. Like they just loved him. And it seemed like he was such an amazing man. Like I can't imagine what that's like. I mean, I can't.
There was this one clip that I don't know who shared it on Twitter, but I like came across it, and it's a moment when they're at like the upfronts. I think they're either at the upfronts or at Comic-Con, and Marisol at one point she's like, "I'm cold," and he like takes off his jacket and puts it over her. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I think he was just such a cool guy. Person. Like I think like he is Fred Andrews in every way. Like he's more than just a dad. He was like Archie's like boy. Like they were friends too. Like he was just a cool person, a cool guy, and like I feel like there's not a lot of people, guys like that.
It's true.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Okay, let's get to our recap roundups.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment, I think, has to be Betty burning her house down, because that was freaking crazy.
That was nuts.
And it's like we've seen it before. Like, you know, we've seen Cheryl do it, but I'm like, but this is still amazing. Like,
yeah. Oh man, and the fact that like she walks in on it, she's like, "What the fuck?"
She didn't even notice it. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
There's like smoke literally in the entire house.
She's like, "Honey, I brought food home." I'm like, "Girl, your house is burning. Like, look."
Look up. My best moment is gonna go to Veronica stopping Hiram at the door and like really basically spilling all the tea and being like, "You can't come in, bitch, until you shape up." I was like, finally Veronica's kind of cool again. I was like, I'm into it.
WTF moment.
What's your WTF?
My WTF moment, I think honestly was like the Choni fight, because I was just at a loss of like, why, what happened? Like, why is Cheryl so pissed at the end? Like, I didn't understand why she was so angry. But like, yeah, like we've discussed it, and I guess it kind of makes sense. I just wish that it was more of an equal fight where like Tony fucked up and Cheryl fucked up. You know what I mean? Where it was like, okay, there's like this huge fight, but maybe that's still to come. I don't know.
Yeah. My WTF moment is Gladys singing.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Very shocked that was even a part of the storyline. Yeah. When we saw the trailer and we saw her up on the Bon Nuit, we were literally laughing about the fact that maybe she would be singing, and she was singing. So, like, anyway, whatever. Yeah. It was random.
MVP.
Who's your MVP?
MVP is gonna go to Veronica, because I think she killed it with all her casino missions, and I just love that whole part where they like hide all the machines. And,
that was cool.
That was really cool.
Into it. My MVP is gonna be Archie, because I feel like despite everything and how everything kind of like went to shits at the end, it was honestly so cute watching him be like an mature.
Yeah,
like
a brother
adult.
even, right? Like towards
he was
him,
like a big brother.
And I'm just loving Archie's character, like for the second half of the season. Like I'm having fun with his storyline.
For sure.
LVP.
Who was your LVP?
LVP is gonna go to Kevin, because it's just Kevin. It's like I don't like him. And I want to know how he's gonna come back from this, because I'm sure at some point they're gonna have to make him do something to come back into the squad. But like what? Like he's being crazy right now.
Yeah, he's insane. And that's the thing. Every single time he does something, I don't know how they're gonna pull him back. You're right, and it's gonna be interesting to see if he's gonna have any redeeming moments or if he's gonna be someone who just dies.
Yeah.
Because at this point,
he might die.
Just die. Like, I don't know. He's such a lost character. My LVP is gonna be Ricky D's for stumping all of us and trying to stabbing Archie. Like, what a piece of shit. I was really rooting for him, and then he ended up killing everybody or trying to kill somebody. So, oh wow.
Boy bye.
The best line.
What was your best line?
I don't really have a best line, but I think it was when Gladys was singing and like the heckler was like, like, I'll give her the tip. And she's like, what, my piney tip? I was just like, what is going on? Like, this is hilarious.
Yeah. That was funny.
No best line.
Yeah, my best line is when FP's talking to the whole like Serpent gang, and he's like, if it's not unanimous, there's the damn door. Just because of the way he delivered it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, not many big major lines this episode. That is the episode, guys. Just a few announcements before we finish up. Thank you to our patrons of the episode, our lit rewinders, Tina Ann, Sarge, and Serena, and our Mobby rewinders, Becca, Sarah, and Tamila.
And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you'll get access to all things Recap Rewind, exclusive contests, content, and updates.
And also make sure you guys are checking us out on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and Facebook. Make sure you guys are staying connected to join the conversation. Like, subscribe, follow, review, comment to stay engaged with Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.